I came across an intriguing object with only the label loud mouth on it. It appears to be something that could fit in your mouth, possibly on the roof of your mouth. The material seems to be made of woven medical fabric with a thin layer of plastic running through the middle. It's lightweight and has no discernible smell. I tried searching Google using terms like loud mouth and loud mouth nicotine, hoping it could be a smoking cessation device, but I couldn't find anything that matches. The design suggests it might be pharmaceutical or medical grade, but I'm still uncertain about its true purpose. Can anyone help me figure out what this is? It's called a diaphragm turkey call. You use it to make sexy turkey hen sounds with it. My dad is a turkey hunter. In our college years, my uncle's half-German shepherd, half-basset hound dog would stay at mom and dad's house and never go home. She was a yapping, barking fool, and her legs were about 3 inches long with big old basset feet, body and tail like a German shepherd. He pulls up, in full camo, still has his diaphragm call in his mouth. She tunes up, barking her fool head off at him. He gets out of his truck, proceeds to chase her around the backyard, flapping his arms and squalling through the turkey call. Dog turns and tears off, yelping like he's hurt her, but he's not touched her. He's in pursuit, and doesn't realize my dad dug up a largest tree in the yard and hadn't filled in the hole that day. He, disappeared into the hole. It knocked the wind out of him. The turkey call sounds went out like a balloon when you're squeezing the air out and pinching the neck of it. Dog went home for a few days and stayed, thank God. This item is labeled Scientific Apparatus Company, Bloomfield, New Jersey. It stands approximately 30 inches tall and 16 inches wide, weighing around 8 pounds. It features multiple chambers and tubes. I discovered it in a storage unit upstate New York, but there are no other markings on it. I found some glass pieces made by the same company through Google, but couldn't find any information on this particular piece. Any idea what it could be? I believe this is a vapor separation apparatus. The idea is to boil a fluid in one chamber, while the other chamber is used to siphon off vapors at different temperatures or densities as they gradually boil off. These vapors are collected at one of the 3 points we can see, with the remaining liquid settling at the rounded bottom of the larger tube. This is a very old wood knot sculpture with a Hebrew inscription. My friend inherited it from his father. He's seen this piece his whole life, but never really knew what it was. His late father had told him he found it in the mud while digging near his house in Jacarepaguá, a suburb of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, when he was a child, around 1930. The sculpture depicts a small boat carved from a wood knot, with an inscription on the back that appears to be burned into the wood. It looks like Hebrew. It's a fascinating piece, and I'm hoping someone might be able to help identify its origins, its meaning, and the period it comes from. This is probably a kind of old souvenir from Old Jerusalem. The writing on the back says Jerusalem, but in a kind of biblical way, pronounced Yerushalem and not Yerushalayim, as commonly pronounced in Israel today. The building is a bit fuzzy to me. It looks like nothing and yet anything from the old city, but I did a little digging. So the fact that the writing in the back is in Hebrew tells me that this is a building with Jewish importance, hence not a church, mosque, etc. Tiferet Israel synagogue, which was ruined in 1948. This explains why I don't know how it looks as a building. It was a very big and important structure in the Jewish quarter, and finding it in ruins was kind of a heartbreak for the Jews in Jerusalem. If I have to guess, it'd be one of the two. Either this carving is dated pre-1947 and post-1872, and was bought by a local artist as a souvenir, with the synagogue being a current symbol, or this piece is from around 1948 to 1950, when the synagogue was a symbol to the losses of the war. Either way, it's not a common souvenir you'd get out of a shop today. My wife found this at a Goodwill, and I feel like it might have religious significance. It's a gold arch decoration with a crystal in the center, hanging from it. I've searched extensively on Google for something similar, but haven't found anything that looks exactly like it. It has a religious appearance, but I can't confirm its true purpose or origin. Any ideas what this thing is? It reminds me of an antique pickle stand or caster, though it's missing the glass jar. In Victorian England, the pickle caster was initially introduced as just another fancy piece of serving ware meant to carry pickled produce. Being able to have one was a kind of status symbol, as it usually correlated to being able to afford household servants. Simply put, pickling veggies simply wasn't a standard pastime for urban households, but it was something that you could ask your kitchen staff to do for you. As such, a pickle caster was a way of bragging, we can pay people to pickle stuff and then put in this ornamental jar to garnish our dinner with for a household. While metal detecting near the Mississippi River, I discovered an intriguing object. It's slightly larger in diameter than a U.S. quarter, measuring about 3/4 of an inch, and is surprisingly heavy for its size. The front features gems, and the back has a design that looks like a celestial pattern, though that's just a guess. The design on the front is off-center, with the side featuring the gems being slightly thicker. It seems like it could be a pendant, but I'm not entirely sure. On the back, I can make out the letters A and M, possibly initials. The object appears quite old, and despite its small size, it's heavy. The side view reveals ridges, resembling a coin, which might have been intentionally added by the maker. I've never encountered a coin with a similar structure. I did clean it with a jewelry cleaner, which cleaned the gems, but the metal remained nearly the same as when I found it, just without the dirt. Does anyone have any ideas about what this object could be or its significance? While cleaning out my late aunt's apartment, we came across some intriguing objects. These pieces are made of metal and feature intricate designs on both sides. The ends are smooth to the touch, and they are surprisingly heavy. My aunt had an extensive collection of knickknacks, so at first, we weren't sure what these items were. Curious, I tried using Google Lens to identify them, but the results mostly showed images of cutlery handles with similar designs. Despite the resemblance, these objects didn't quite match anything I could easily identify. Can anyone identify what these are? I recently picked this up at an estate sale where I found it sitting on a windowsill in the kitchen. The propeller spins, and the top finial is removable. Inside, there seems to be some kind of white powder, though it could be harmless. The cannon-shaped pieces appear to have a hole running all the way through them, but despite trying to blow through it, nothing comes out. It might be clogged. There are no markings except for some carved details. I have no idea what it is, and Google Lens hasn't provided any useful answers. Anyone have an idea or a guess?